What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. And I got to say, the tone of this, I'll say, post-game show was very different than what I was expecting in halftime. Because halftime was coming in, and I was like, man, I really don't want to have to be really mad recording this post-game show because the first half was atrocious. That was maybe the worst called game I've ever seen from any offensive coordinator at any level of football. In any era I have watched, and I have watched 1940s football, like legitimately. I have watched Earl Dutch Clark games before. I have watched a lot of football in my life, and that was terrible. The Ravens went out and they attempted like 30 passes in the first half. They ran the ball 5 times on designed run plays. I'm not counting the draw play on. Let's not even get into the fact that they were in a third and 80. In the first half, it was atrocious. And they came out in the second half and they ran the football, which, wow, I'm surprised. Running the football against one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. I don't know how it worked. I'm truly baffled at how good Greg Roman was to be able to put that together. So shout out to him. But the biggest guy is Mr. Isaiah Likely, the gorilla. Joshua, what are your thoughts on this game?
Man, I would say definitely mixed emotions because first of all, one, I'm tired, so we got that. Two, that first half took a lot out of us. Second half was like, yo, man, they're finally getting right. I don't even have the energy to like really root for them. I'm just going to watch the game now. But seeing Isaiah Likely definitely having the game, it almost reminds me of when Hayden Hurst went down and Mark Andrews finally came alive. Not saying that this is going to be like a season-ending injury to Mark Andrews or anything like that, where it's going to cause Mark Andrews to want to be traded, but it almost, it's almost like, a catch-22 type of thing. Isaiah Likely, with Mark Andrews out the picture, he started thriving, and it was good to see him actually doing his thing. I mean, we've been waiting to see this since after the preseason, and unfortunately, under unfortunate circumstances, he got his opportunity to shine.
I want to talk about something really quickly because someone said, Boogie, pass game opened up the run. I think this is completely incorrect. The Ravens threw 8 passes in the second half. They attempted 30 in the first half, and it did not work. The second half, and what's funny is you think about the second half, yeah, they're running the ball well, but what comes to mind? Isaiah Likely. Man, he was dominating. He was getting all over the field.
Yeah.
Because the run game was working, boom, they hit him with the play action, and look at that, over the middle of the field. Joshua, I saw it, and I could not believe my eyes. The instant bootleg to the right had a successful play. It worked. Isaiah Likely got a reception on the bootleg to the right. But the run game worked so well, and it set up the pass. And Gus Edwards got hurt. It didn't look crazy serious. It looked to me like a hyperextension. Nothing too crazy, though. It looked like he just inverted a small amount. Obviously, I can't speak to how bad it actually was, but
yeah.
That run game is exactly what, I can't wait to release you guys that don't listen to we put out the podcast episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts right when we record them. The segment is not out on YouTube yet. We talk about identity. Joshua, was this the identity that we were looking for?
I think it's definitely a prelude. I feel like Monday night game will solidify the identity that we truly are looking for, which is, establish the run game, open up a play action and passing the ball, moving it down the field. I mean, you know what? I would say this. Even though the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did not do cover zero blitz, even though they was blitzing, we did throw those quick passes to, like, hey, we seen this before, slow y'all roll. So I did like the fact that we was able to, to do certain things to like slow the defense down. And that run game, it wore him down. And shout out to Mr. Tyler Linderbaum. I know Vaya was getting with him, but man, seeing him getting to the next level, blocking out linebackers, being that lead blocker, man, that's a beautiful thing to see, man.
I think he had Devin White on his back 15, 20 yards down the field at one point.
Yeah.
And also, Bookie, I just want to say quickly, the Ravens ran the ball 5 times in the first half, so I don't know what you mean by the Ravens were getting stuffed. Gus Edwards was averaging 4 yards a carry. and they ran the ball with. I mean, technically they had 7 rushing attempts. No, they had 8 technical rushing attempts. One was a 3rd and 38. I looked at this at halftime because I was curious. 3rd and 38. One was a run. That doesn't count. They got 8 yards. Sure, it was a successful run, but come on, that play doesn't count. One was a Lamar Jackson scramble, so not a designed run. And the other was a Lamar Jackson. He lost yardage on a read option play in the red zone. And then the other 5 attempts were all with Gus Edwards, and he was averaging about 4 yards a carry. So it was working, and he looked really good. And overall, Benjamin, yeah, he averaged 5.9 in the game. The Ravens, the run game looked explosive in the second half. The run game looked like it was supposed to look like because they're going up against a bad run defense. Even though, like on paper, this Bucs defense should be good against the run. Like on paper, you look at this defense, you look at this front seven, you say Vita Vea, great linebackers, good edge rushers, good edge setters. Like they should be good. They're not good. They are one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. They're one of the worst rush offenses in the NFL. And the Ravens went out, put up 231 yards on the ground. This is a 2019 level Ravens game. Yeah, they struggled first. I'm not going to talk about the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life, which was the fact that the Ravens were like, oh, yeah, it's 4th and 3 inside the red zone. Let's go for it. Let's do it, man. I was so pissed right there. I was ready to throw my head through the TV. Like, I was just like, oh, my gosh. But second half, they went out there, and it was just like, hey, let's just run the football. And they had Gus Edwards, average 5.9 yards per carry. Kenyon Drake, 6 carries for 22 yards, not including his 40-yard run, is still decent. That's over 3 yards a carry, and then having an explosive run. Lamar Jackson looked good on the ground. He had that big run up the middle. I think that was one of those momentum-changing plays, Joshua, that we talked about, because that first half was terrible. And then Lamar Jackson, like first drive, I think it was the second play, maybe it was the first play. Read option takes it right up the middle, hits a dirty spin move, and then is able to get all the way out to the side for 25 yards. And it just went.
To Cincinnati to the crib situation.
I wish. Oh my gosh! But like he makes the guy miss. He gets up the field, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, this is the first time we've seen something out of this offense. And they kept the foot on the gas. That was the best part. Now, the Bucs did score a touchdown at the end. Shout out to the greatest cornerback in history, Brandon Stevens, for a good old-fashioned Brandon Stevens penalty.
Man, come on, man. He played the wide receiver, literally. You could tell the 45-year-old man's arm is not that strong. If it was stronger, then yeah, the dude would have been gone. But dude was literally coming back, and Brandon Stevens was catching up.
Yeah, but in the end, I mean, it was just these short passes.
Yeah.
And the problem was Demarcus Robinson, I think, Demarcus Robinson played fine. The problem was the play calling was terrible. They ran three routes in the first half. It was quick out, hook, and streak. That's all they ran. Demarcus Robinson was killing him with the quick out. So shout out to him. But the best play he made was on the screen pass to him, and he made a man miss. And that was something where I was seeing he was making guys miss after the catch, which was something that was really nice because we hadn't seen that out of him this year yet. But also I gotta say I loved Matabike putting Brady into the ground. I don't care if he got a penalty.
That was so BS, bro. Like it's really the Tom Brady rule. Like,
yeah,
it was fine. Like
I watched it and I was like, I saw the play happening and I was like, hit him. I was like, I don't get like we're up by 11, hit him. Yeah, like, it doesn't matter. And then Julio dropped the pass, so it like wasn't even that bad. I was like, just hit him. And yeah, the Ravens players getting hurt, that sucked. But at the same time, even though they were hurt, here's the benefit of the Ravens offense is they should be running the ball. That's what they did. And it's so funny because it was like if they had gotten into a 4th down situation, like, in a tie game, at midfield or something like that, in the second half with how they were playing, that's a situation where you go for it. Because, like, you're running the ball and you're getting success and you have Gus Edwards in the game. It's when it's the first half and you're having no success whatsoever offensively. Your only points were scored because of a muffed punt. It really reminded me of the Colts game of, I don't know, 2020 or 2021 because in that game, it was like we had the pick six in the first half from I think it was Chuck Clark or Marcus Pierce. I think it was Chuck Clark. Pick six on Phillip Rivers, but the offense didn't do anything. And then the second half, the offense was fantastic. That's what this kind of reminded me of, where it was like the offense really struggled, but defense was able to keep them in there. Shout out to the defense once again, playing great football, and appreciated so much Doobie Mars. Just because we won, it's so exciting to get a win. And so exciting to get a win on a high note, because last week we got the win and we were pissed because it was like, yo, we almost choked again.
No, seriously. And the great thing about it, man, you know, the 10-day break. The 10-day break. You know,
10-day break, then a 20-game break.
So it gives us a lot of time to get a lot of guys back.
Absolutely. And Asmodeus, thank you so much, Asmodeus. Thank you so much for the super chat. For a legit dinner for you both, maybe 2 pieces from Domino's, because this run game be feasting. Best thing is one game for the next month means the team can get healthy at the right time. Lamar's undefeated against Brady. Man, Asmodeus, once again, thank you so much. But yeah, this run game looks great. And then we get time off. And the time off is great for health.
Yes.
We're going to get David Ojabo back. We may not get him for this week, but in their next game after this week is in 28 days. We should have, hopefully, Mark Andrews, Marcus Williams. We could have Rashad Bateman back. We could have
Tyus,
Ojabo.
I forgot how long Marcus Williams' injury was.
I think it was like 6 weeks.
Okay, so we get him by Thanksgiving then.
Yeah. So like it's huge. And we're gonna get all these guys back because of this break. And the schedule's not as easy as it looks, because I know the schedule says like, oh yeah, we don't have that many like winning record teams. There are some difficult teams, even though they don't have winning records. Yeah, it's not like they're pushover teams like the like Cleveland Browns 3 years ago or and things like that. Instead, it's like, okay, they're going to be tough wins, but they should win games.
Exactly. So everybody that we won, the team should we should, but listen, man, it's the Ravens. We're 4-3. Are we damn? No, excuse me.
5-3.
Damn, it still don't sound like just coming out my mouth. It don't sound good. But listen, we got to win Thursday Night Football primetime. You know, it was a nasty in the beginning, but we came out. You know, like we said, they put the foot on the gas, didn't give up. They took the points and the opportunities. Devin Duvernay, he was a playmaker that he was. So big shout out to him. I feel like, you know, that jet sweep to him and Justice Hill getting out there to block, and even Isaiah Likely, someone that they talk about that can't block, you know, sealed the deal, you know, so he can get up the field. It was a beautiful play. It was a beautiful play.
Yeah, that's something that, I mean, we've been talking about it for a while. Get Duvernay the ball on those jet sweeps. And I love the incorporation of the Lamar Jackson read option aspect.
Yeah.
Where, like, Lamar doesn't really keep it very often, but it just keeps him in check a little bit. If that linebacker stutters for a second, gives Duvernay that much more time to be able to get around him and get into that end zone. So, and Alex, I think this is 100% true. Hopefully this is the game where the Ravens recognize, hey, one, Lamar recognizes, hey, I can trust this guy. Like this rookie, because he lost everybody this game. And Lamar was like, okay, who am I throwing to? Mm-hmm. And he built up trust, it looks like, with Demarcus Robinson and Isaiah Likely. And that's huge. Because he has trust, I think, with Duvernay. We've seen that. He has trust with Bateman. He has trust with Mark Andrews. We can get more guys that Lamar Jackson can trust. And also, shout out to Justin Houston, because Justin Houston is on fire. It's just exactly what they need. You know, it's not one-dimensional. It can be good. Like, what's funny, it's like, so I comment from Michael, this is funny. I'll grow the beard until the end of the season. I got you. But that's not the comment I was trying to find. I saw that. But Cletus, I like the second half not getting cute and being more balanced. This is the part that I love because it seems balanced. The Ravens ran the ball almost every single play in the second half, but it felt balanced because the runs were explosive. And when you have explosive run plays, it feels like a pass. I don't know how, but the sensation of getting a big run is like, oh, yeah, they passed on that drive because running feels like, oh, you're getting 4 yards of carry and it's a 25-play drive, right? Like the Ravens were having touchdown drives, and I got to pull up the exact amount of plays that they were having. But it was like they only threw the ball 8 times in the second half, but it was a 9-play, 83-yard touchdown drive. That's really good. The amount of yards that they did also took up 5.5 minutes. 11 plays, 80 yards, 6 minutes, 52 seconds, almost 7 minutes. 9 plays, 77 yards. That was the second half. Every time they got the ball, they scored. Every time they got the ball, they scored. That is the Lamar Jackson that we know. That is the Ravens offense and the Ravens run game that we know. Even though we're running the ball more, it works because when the run game is that successful, it doesn't matter how much you're passing because whenever you do, it's going to work out.
Absolutely agree with that, man. Woo.
All right, Joshua. All right. Also, guys, we can't stream for very long tonight. We're probably going to wrap it up really soon. But we're going to be recording a podcast tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of content out this weekend. Don't worry about that. But Joshua, is there anything else you want to talk about in this game that happened before we do the real recap tomorrow?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. They took a lot out of me tonight. Got work in the morning. So we'll definitely, leave all our thoughts and ideas. Make sure y'all hitting us up on YouTube and Twitter. Yeah. You know what? We were experimenting. I will comment on that. We were experimenting, but we also made adjustments. If we would have had that same type of energy when we played against the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs a couple years back, who knows what could have happened. But I'm glad they was able to make adjustments this time. So we'll see how the rest of the season plays out, y'all.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to see, Chris Reed said, check Twitter. What's on Twitter? I'm trying to find what's on Twitter. What happened on Twitter? Is this a notification? Like from Jeff Zrebiec or something like that?
I don't know. Hold on.
Tom Brady. I'm looking for something. I'm looking on Twitter. What is it? Oh, he's holding up a sign. Oh, yeah. Pay number 8. Pay him now. That's funny. I love that. That's funny. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming through. Make sure to subscribe for Daily Ravens content. It's tough on these Thursday night games for the post-game streams and Monday night just because we got work in the morning. I live on the West Coast, but I work at 4:45 in the morning. So
Jesus.
Yeah, so I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
But everyone, we're going to be recording our show tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, comments, you can comment it on the stream right after it ends. We'll talk about those in the podcast. And also, I'll put out a poll tomorrow morning, and we'll be able to get some other things that you guys want us to talk about. We're definitely going to go in detail on this game more. It's a big win. We got a lot of time before the Ravens play next. I mean, next Monday. So don't worry about that. Thank you all so much for coming in. Subscribe, and we'll see all of you again then.